So a few days ago, we saw British and French generals come out and say to all the Europeans, including Ireland, we have to get ready for a war with Russia. We have to flip and get ready for our kids to die and all this kind of crazy stuff. Well, today, President Putin says Russia does not want to attack Europe. He said it's laughable and a total lie. Basically what I thought from the beginning. Why would Russia want to be invading Europe? Just a complete nonsense that's run by this left-wing media. They want us all to go to war with Russia. And of course, Trump is very good friends with Putin, and they're not going to let that happen, okay? This is completely laughable. Don't believe a word this mainstream media says about going to war with Russia.
We have to translate it into diplomatic language. One thing is to say that Russia is not going to attack Europe. It's funny for us. It's laughable because we never wanted to attack Europe. Okay, let's put it in writing. But there are some people who are not particularly, shall we say, with us. I don't know. There may be some crooks. They are telling their population that Russia is getting to attack Europe, and we have to strengthen our defense. I'm not sure whether they serve the military industry interests, or maybe they try to basically increase their political ratings.
100% they're serving their military interests. We know war is a racket. General Smedley Butler from the USA, he was a Marine. He had 2 Congressional Medals of Honor. Absolute legend. Major General Smedley Butler. He is one of the most decorated soldiers in the US Army. He said it after 33 years of fighting with the US military. He said that war is a racket. Every war that's fought is because of the military-industrial complex. They're fighting for the Fruit Corporation. If they didn't get cooperation with these different governments in Latin America and all over the world, they would just send the Marines in and they would force them to cooperate with them. War is a racket. It's all to make money. Okay, so we know they're just trying to hype up themselves and increase their level of status by saying this nonsense. Britain and French generals.
It's very difficult to say, but as from this is a lie. This is a total lie. But when everything is being fed to the society and the citizens are scared and they want to hear that we don't have any aggressive plans towards Europe. We're happy to put it in writing. Maybe there's a sense into this when we want to talk together and discuss some dots the I's and cross the T's when it comes to European security. We're always open to that. Those countries, which we can call them partners, go ahead. But we have to sit down and discuss every word.
So he's saying so adamantly that they're not going to invade Europe, that they're going to put it in writing. So yeah, I already knew that stuff was nonsense. I had a bunch of people in the comments saying that was nonsense. Why they would want to invade is complete and utter joke, guys. It's just to scare the European citizens into taking more of their freedoms, digital ID, etc., CDBCs, carbon credit scores, that kind of thing. So we got some more international news today. This is IS in Somalia, okay? Breaking news from yesterday. U.S. Special Operations troops in Puntland counter-terrorism forces carried out a pre-dawn assault on ISIS Somalia hideouts in the Balklade Valley. So obviously we know Somalia has Al-Shabaab, East Nigeria have Boko Haram. These are terror fractions. These are Al-Qaeda terror fractions. And now U.S. Special Forces, Navy, SEAL, Delta Force, they're going into these places and killing them all. And I'm all for that. Good job, America. Okay. More than 100 American operators arrived in MH-60 helicopters with MQ-9 Reapers overhead. So those are the Reaper drones, okay, which can just bomb you, right? Striking cave positions held by about 10 to 15 ISIS fighters in the Bakuje and Mariro areas of Calais Misgad range. PCTF pushed in with roughly 200 troops after several days of US airstrikes that had already killed multiple militants. So of course, before any special forces launch into an area, the Americans will just bomb them for a few days. So after literally a few days, they sent in 200 troops to kill the rest of ISIS Somalia. Good job. The raid triggered 2 to 4 hours of close quarters clashes inside fortified caves, including engagements with foreign fighters from Syria, Turkey, and Ethiopia. By sunrise, UF and PCTF forces had withdrawn with no reported American casualties. Amazing. So they sent in 200 special forces. They had 0 casualties, and they killed a whole bunch of ISIS. Great stuff. Great job. This is why we like Trump, guys. Trump was the main guy to actually support this. He killed off ISIS. They completely destroyed the caliphate. He said it on the Joe Rogan podcast. It only took him like 3 months or a few months. And I believe under the Biden administration, they said it would take years. And that's one of the reasons why we're going to swap the Irish hat for the American hat, baby. So early results indicate a senior ISIS Somalian commander and several aides were killed, along with a total of 10 terrorists. Forces also destroyed weapons caches and equipment used for gold mining operations that funded the group. So they were being funded by gold mining. This is bizarre stuff. Puntland's leadership says its Operation Hilak now controls almost all of the Kalmiskad Mountains and aims to eliminate ISIS Somalia by December 2025. Oh, let's go, man. America is back. America is so back, guys. As soon as Donald Trump came into office, he launched a lot of these operations overseas. And of course, Elon Musk shared this post. ISIS Somalia are terrible, guys. The same as ISIS in Nigeria and all over the North and East Africa and also the Middle East. They have to keep destroying them. That's one great thing about Trump, guys. He wants to destroy all these caliphates and all these terror organizations. Another very interesting video here. The head of the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration in the USA, breaks silence on AIDS, HIV, puberty blockers, and bioweapons research. Let's listen.
You know, with puberty blockers, with even the movement of transgender, back in the days, like basic question for you. If I would ask you this simple question, because my boys one day come out and they start talking to me about someone in kid is gay. Okay, and what does that really mean? If I were to ask you right now, where did AIDS come from? What would you say?
You know, speaking of the film, thank you, Dr. Fauci, they explore a non-traditional narrative which has not gotten the attention it deserves, and that is that it may very well have come from a lab in Africa.
AIDS could have come from a lab in Africa.
HIV
came from a lab in Africa. This is like groundbreaking stuff. We saw JFK saying that taking Panadol and Tylenol when you're pregnant causes autism in kids and that kind of stuff. Now we have more groundbreaking stuff. I mean, this Trump administration, I'm going to be honest, guys, is one of the best I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's just the best ever. When he first came in, it was okay. 2016, didn't do a ton. He did it a little bit. This 2024 to 2028, hopefully, is the best administration ever. This is unbelievable, guys.
In the state of New York, a couple years ago, a virus is spreading. And I don't know if it was the governor that said this or whoever it was. It could have been the mayor, could have been the governor that came out and said, hey, specifically to gay men, to maybe pump the brakes when it comes down to being, is that what it was?
Monkeypox, I believe it was.
Mpox.
Mpox is what it was.
Yeah.
Maybe pump the brakes on being sexually active right now the next couple months.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would he say that? Why would he suggest that? Because if AIDS, and I remember the whole Anthony Fauci, what was the pill that the AZT, ATZ, am I saying it correctly?
AZT.
AZT, yeah. And I think it gets to a point that some people don't want to talk about what really is going on and kind of want to give the direction at a different place on what's causing this. You know, where maybe it's even some people's lifestyle on how people live. Is it healthy? Is it not healthy? This is a sensitive topic. Most people don't want to go to it.
That's right.
It's extremely difficult because who are you going to lose? Who's going to be not happy? We're already past this. But if we don't openly talk about this stuff, then you lose the argument with puberty blockers.
Yes.
Then you lose the argument with all the other things that's happening to kids, and they're confused because we're like, well, no, I don't want to touch that story. Dallas Buyers Club, you know, Matthew McConaughey, what was really going on? And no, let's not touch that story because that's a little too controversial. Let's just kind of say it came from a lab. Let's just say it came from here.
And that's what we're seeing now. A lot of these controversial diseases are coming out. You know, China virus, all this different stuff. A lot of these different controversial things are coming to the forefront because Trump was elected. A lot of things are coming into the forefront, into reality. It's crazy.
And then you're supposed to sit there and say, really?
Yeah. I don't know where HIV came from, but how many people have Lyme disease, including people we know? Where did Lyme disease come from? I can tell you with a high degree of probability, it came from Lab 257 on Plum Island, just outside of Connecticut, 25 miles from Lyme, Connecticut, where the first case was described.
Oh my god, this is like groundbreaking stuff. I remember at 14 watching Jesse Ventura Conspiracy Theory on TV. We had the Skybox, okay? And he had it on the Discovery Channel, and it literally aired on repeat. They said that Lyme disease came from Plum Island near Lyme, Connecticut. And he said this disease was manufactured, man-made to like disrupt populations. They're literally saying it right now for a fact. This is like unbelievable stuff, guys.
How do we know that? First of all, you can read the book Bitten, and it's a great book. When the Nazi war criminal doctors were executed in Nuremberg, at least one of them was spared and brought to the United States so that he could, his mind could be used by the U.S. military for so-called biodefense. And they put him on Plum Island. And he had said very openly that he believed an incredible form of biowarfare was infecting ticks. And that's what Lyme disease is. And then it shows up 25 miles away. And by the way, that's not the only thing that showed up close by. They
make these horrendous viruses to kind of, used by the US military, and then they just expose the world to it. Man. And whether it's a plan or if it's a mistake, who knows? But like, this is terribly, terribly frightening stuff.
Found half rat, half deer carcasses on what's it called in the Hamptons, the last town, Montauk. Yeah, it showed washed up in Montauk. This is like in the 90s. What the hell's going on there? Again, a bunch of mad scientists doing things, and all these people have Lyme disease. How many physicians know that it came from Lab 257? That Lyme disease came from?
Amazing.
Approximately 1%, right? Yeah. Because these are things we are never honest with ourselves.
Yep.
That just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. And sometimes we can cause more harm than we can good.
Yeah, and these are immoral practices, of course. Like, you don't want to have people running around that have diseases and spreading these diseases because they infect populations and they destroy your long-term health. Lyme disease is incredibly destructive for your health. And now we have people in Galway and Ireland that have Lyme disease. It was normally just prevalent in North America. Now we have it here in Ireland as well. So you have people from Connemara, you have people from these wooded areas getting this disease. So terrifying stuff.
By messing with Mother Nature.
So that's unbelievably well said by the head of the FDA. Not a lot of people would pick up on that. Not a lot of people would actually talk about that because very controversial him to say from Lab 257 on Plum Island. I mean, unreal. That was a U.S. military research lab. And Jesse Ventura, like I said, investigated that area, and he was told he wasn't able to go in there and look around and stuff, even though they call it like a public area. Bizarre stuff. So now we're learning that all these different viruses are actually coming from labs. The last international video we have here is a beach in California, which are usually packed or empty because of the ICE raids and operations. And this is from Libs of TikTok. It says, literally every aspect of your life will get better with mass deportations. Look at this. It's amazing. It's amazing. There's literally nobody around. I love it. And this is the same and should be happening in Ireland. We should have mass deportations for people that shouldn't be living here, claiming dole, not working. Even if you're from Eastern Europe and allowed to legally be here, you shouldn't be here, guys. So amazing stuff. So let's get mass deportations started in Ireland. We're going to follow ICE. We're going to follow the US model. We're going to get these mass deportations going. I love you all. If you want to support me, hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member today for just €3 per month. And I'll see you guys all in the next one, man. Peace.